Today we're going to be talking all about purchasing your first liquidation pallet. Now, if you watched my last video, I took you through the first couple of steps of purchasing a liquidation pallet, not only online, but also locally. I gave you some different places that you can source those liquidation pallets from. If you want to check it out, check the cards up above. Now, I know it's a lot going on in the world right now, and it's not really a good time to be getting into the business of purchasing liquidation pallets or any pallets for that matter, due to what's going on in the world. However, this is all going to pass by us, and we're going to be able to go back to business as usual at some point in time. So when that does happen, you can take this time right now to gather all your research, get all your resources together, and get ready to start your business. I'm also going to be giving you some tips as to what I'm doing to make my business recession proof. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there is 100% no way that I'm going to go out of business. But I have set a few things in place to kind of help with times when sales are not going to be as good as they always or normally are. So if you want to see any of that, stay tuned. What is up, guys? CJ here with another episode. Today we're going to be going over purchasing your first liquidation pallet. If you watched my last video, I kind of showed you how to source your pallets, not only locally but also online. I gave you a bunch of online places to purchase those from. There is going to be associated costs with purchasing them online versus purchase them in person, but you know, you can kind of go through and see the numbers and see exactly what you want to do based on what the prices are at the time. So now, right now, you can't really purchase a lot of pallets because, of course, the country is shut down, and so you can't really buy any liquidation pallets. But what you can do is you can create your business plan to see how you are going to start your business once the country starts back up. It's going to be a really awesome time, especially because a lot of people that want to purchase a business or want to start a business are going to be able to kind of get their ideas and get their thing together. Like right now, I'm using a lot of time to build my website because I want to have my website 100%. Everything that's in my store, I want it to be on the website. So right now, while we're closed, I could take a lot of time and do that. Now, I'm still able to sell online, so you know, that's one of the things about being recession proof or being shutdown proof, is being able to sell online. So if you are selling in a store, if you have a physical location, it's going to be a little bit different because you will have to establish yourself as an online retailer. And I'll get more into that a little bit later, but let's get back to the video. Let's get back to where we was at. Let's rewind. All right, so now we've purchased our pallet and we have got it to our location of choice. So we're going to talk a little bit about locations and how you can get your pallets from point A to point B. So if you purchase your pallets online, it's going to be a lot easier to, you know, to take it to wherever you're going to take it. So if you buy it from like bolt.com or anywhere else, they can ship it to your location. Now, here's the thing. If you purchase it from a place that is a online place where they charge you freight shipping, a lot of them make you pay more if you don't have a lift gate, or if you don't have a bay door, so they don't have to use a lift gate to deliver your pallet. So I don't have any way for them just to back a truck up and roll the pallet off, so I do have to do lift gate delivery, and that normally comes at an additional cost because it's a different truck that comes in and a whole bunch of different things. So keep that in mind. If you're purchasing your items online, you're going to have that lift gate delivery unless you have a way for a semi truck to back up to wherever you're at and roll the pallets off. Now, I've been able to do this a couple different ways. So the first way that I was able to do this is I rented my own truck. So I just had them use a fork truck and get the pallet onto my truck, and then I took it to my, at that time, I took it to my storage. So if you are just starting out, then you need to look at how you're going to get your pallets from point A to point B. Now, I've since purchased a truck, so I can put 2 pallets in the back of my truck. I can strap it down, I can take it to wherever. before, if you don't have a truck or if you don't know anybody with a truck, here are a couple options that you can use. So the first option you can use is a Lowe's or Home Depot rented truck. So Lowe's has an actual just regular truck, you know, just a regular, like I think it's a Ford truck, maybe a Ford F-150 that they use that you can rent and you can get pallets in that way. Home Depot has a flatbed truck. So the good thing about the flatbed truck is it has a lot more surface area. So you can probably get about 4 pallets onto a flatbed truck, depending on how they stack it, depending on, you know, depending on the certain dimensions of the pallets that you're getting. But I believe you can get actually 4 pallets on a flatbed truck that you can rent from Home Depot. So that is a way that you can do it. Both Lowe's and Home Depot both charge the same for the truck. The truck is $19.99, and they charge you, you know, of course, per mile. So I've been getting out for about 30 bucks. I can go and rent the truck, get the pallets, and then take them to my place and take the truck back. As long as you're renting it just for like, I think 90 minutes, you don't have to pay any additional fees. So $30, you can rent a truck with Lowe's or Home Depot. The second way that you're gonna be able to do that is to rent a U-Haul style truck. So that could be U-Haul, Penske, Budget, whatever, you know, some of the bigger box truck type of stores. Now, recently we went down to Atlanta and we went to a liquidation place called War on Retail, which is a really good liquidation place if you are in the Atlanta area. We actually rented a U-Haul van. So in this U-Haul van, you buy yourself 2 things. It's a new van, so it's comfortable. So if you're going on like a longer trip, then it won't be uncomfortable like riding in a typical U-Haul. And it's enclosed, so if there's inclement weather, if it's raining or snowing outside or something like that, you don't have to worry about the stuff on the liquidation pallets getting wet. So it's a couple things to think about if you are purchasing a liquidation pallet and you have to go pick it up yourself. You know, how are you going to get it from point A to point B? A lot of people don't think about that. They go and say, oh, I'm going to go buy a pallet, and they're like, oh crap, how am I going to get it to my house? So you do have to think about that. Also, the next thing you have to think about is where you're going to store that pallet. So whenever we first started doing this business, I actually stored my pallets in my garage. So my garage is a 2-car garage, not that big, and I kind of like keeping my garage clear to park my cars in there. But to start this business, that's where I put my pallets in. So a lot of my first unboxing videos, if you go back, all that stuff was done in my garage. So if you don't have a place to store your pallets, a garage is a really good place, obviously, to store that. I've had many UPS trucks come in, drop the pallets, drop them off, and I will do my unboxing and everything from my garage. But it goes into, which we'll get into a little bit later, whenever you're selling your product, if you are selling them locally, especially if you're doing like a Facebook marketplace thing, you probably don't want a lot of people coming over to your house to pick up items. So if you are doing that type of thing, or if you're thinking about doing like a Facebook marketplace thing, I would not recommend you housing the items at your house or having people come over to your house to pick up items. Just don't do it. So what we did, when we evolved our business, when we were getting more than 1 pallet, when it was kind of getting to where we need to organize things, what we did was we got a storage unit. It was just something I thought about. I said, hey, what if we get a storage unit and put these items inside the storage unit? So that's what we did. We bought some shelves. We put all of the items, we broke everything down and put them into the storage unit. Now, they didn't buy me a lot when we was actually getting the pallet shipped to the house, because I would have to get the pallet shipped to the house. I would have to put them on the truck, and then I have to take the truck over to the pallet place or to the public storage, and now I have to take all the stuff off the truck and put it onto the shelf. So it was a big long process, but it did help us get organized, and we was able to manifest things and have a true look at what our inventory was versus when it was in my garage. Now, if you are planning on getting a public storage unit just to house your items, there's a couple things to think about. So the cost, there's going to be a cost, of course, with doing that. So we actually got a really good deal for the storage unit. I think it was like 80 bucks per month, and then it had like $5,000 insurance. So if somebody were to break in and steal my items, I had $5,000 worth of insurance to kind of cover that. So it ended up being like $93, I think, per month after all that stuff kind of was added into it. But that is an ongoing cost. So once you get to that point, you are going to be looking at your overhead. You're going to be looking at how much money you're spending per month in order to do business. Now, that's not really a lot of money, especially if you're selling an item and you're making $100 for profit for one item. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, when you sell one item and hey, you know, you're going to be able to pay your storage bill for the month. Now, but you do have to make sure you accumulate all of those costs into your overhead costs, so you know exactly what's going out versus what's coming in, and it won't hit you like at the end of the month like, oh crap, I don't have enough money to pay these bills. After we got the storage unit, we actually got into a actual brick and mortar store. Now, I've always wanted to have a store. It was one of my big dreams and goals whenever we started this business. So we actually leased a building that was very, very close to my house. It's about 6 minutes away from my house, so I can be over there relatively quickly. And it has about 850 square feet, and it's just enough for us to house our items, and it also has another room for our office area where we can kind of package things, we can do unboxings, and then it has like a little kitchen area. Now, this of course comes with a cost. We pay $550 a month for the rent. Now, we're at a place right now where we can afford that. It's not that big a deal for us to pay $550 for rent, but you do have to look at where you're going to house your items. Those are just a couple of ways that I've used to house my items, but you really have to think about where you're going to put your items once you start unboxing them. So let's get into the unboxing. You see me unbox a couple things on this channel. If you're following pallet jacking on YouTube, you will see me unbox a lot of things because that's all we do on that channel over there. And when we unpack our items, we have to do it in such a manner where we have to inventory everything that's coming in, so we know exactly what we have, what we paid for, and how much we want to sell it for, or how much we need to sell it for to break down our cost. So I'm going to give you like kind of a little cost sheet of how we actually calculate that. All right, so put it up here. All right, so what we do is we take the amount that we purchased the pallet for all in. So that's going to be the purchase of the pallet, the taxes, the shipping, or how much it costs for me to actually pick the items up, gas, renting a truck, all those different things that comes in with purchasing the pallet. So, you know, you get that amount and you put that up there, and then you're going to subtract that by how many items that you have. Now, this is counting each and every item that you take off of the pallet. So if you have 105 items, you're going to divide that number by 105. If, you know, no matter if 5 of them are broke or 10 of them are broke, when you first look at it, if you just count everything that's on that pallet, because we're going to take care of the broke stuff at the end. So you go through, you take your total amount and you divide it by the amount of items that you have, and that's where you get your price per item. So look at the average Home Depot pallet that I would purchase for $200. So let's just say we had $2,000 worth of items on this pallet. And I look at it and I say, okay, I need to make this much money per item. So let's just say that amount is $5 per item. So if we took that and we said, okay, $5 per item, but we look at these items and, you know, I may have an item right here that's going to be making me $50. It's going to be, or an item that's going to make me $100, or an item that's going to make me $10. You have to associate a price with each one of those items. That way you know exactly what your break-even cost is going to be and what your profit is going to be for each one of those items. Now, the way that we do it is we take that cost per item, and we translate that to a break-even point. So whenever we hit this break-even point, so my break-even point for a $200 Home Depot pallet is going to be $200. If that's all I pay for it. So if I get to $200, then I can be a little more liberal with my pricing. I can offer a lot more discounts, and that kind of opens up me selling my items to a different market. I'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about having a brick and mortar store and doing Facebook Marketplace. But so once you get that item, once you get that cost, you can actually see exactly what you need to sell your items for, and you can price your items appropriately. So whenever you are going to sell your items, just have that cost in mind, especially when you're looking at items, and you'll kind of learn that as you go along. You start looking at items and you'll say, you know, I know I can sell that for $10, but I know this don't look like it got like a lot of items in it, so it's probably going to be maybe $15 per item. So maybe this is not a good pallet to buy. You really start to think about that, exactly what you can actually sell those items for, versus looking at it and seeing one big item and saying, ooh, you know, I can get $200 for that item, but then you gotta look at the other items too and make sure that you can make up the rest of the cost of the pallet based upon all the items that are inside of the pallet. So once you get your pallet in, you know how much you're gonna sell your items for. You have to figure out some kind of way to inventory your items. Now, I always tell people whenever you start this type of business, you need to do this at the very beginning. Don't wait to the end. Do it as you are placing the items wherever they're going to be stored at. Go ahead and inventory your items so you know exactly what you have and where it is and where it came from. I'm gonna include down in the description section below just an Excel spreadsheet that I use. It's just gonna be like a template just to show you, you know, where you got the item for, where you got the pallet from, how much you need to make, what's your break even, and how much you pay per item. And that way you can kind of track your profitability on each and every pallet that you purchase. All right, so let's get into listing. So once you start getting your items in, you're gonna have to figure out exactly where you want to sell your items. Now, personally, I sell my items on Amazon, eBay, and Facebook Marketplace. And then Facebook Marketplace is kind of extension of my brick and mortar store. So I'm gonna say also palletjacking.com. Check it out if you want to. So basically what I do is I look at the items and I know on eBay what people are gonna buy. So whenever I purchase like a $200 Home Depot pallet and it has, you know, $1,000 worth of light fixtures, I know that people on eBay are not gonna pay $150 for a light fixture. They're just not going to. I mean, maybe you know of some people that will pay that much on eBay, but just from my personal experience, I just know that people aren't gonna pay $150 for a light fixture on eBay. But they will pay $150 for a light fixture on Amazon. So normally when I take my higher priced items that will not sell on eBay, I'll list those on Amazon if I can. And I'll make a whole video about listing on Amazon and what to look for and the new versus used and all those different things. I will make a dedicated video for that because I don't want to get off into that because it's a whole different thing by itself. But if it's a new item, brand new, if it looks new, the boxes looks new, it's never been opened, I can list that on Amazon as long as I am ungated in that category. So if I can list it on Amazon, I do list it on Amazon. If I can send it to Amazon, so if I can do fulfilled by Amazon, I'll make sure that I take that out of my inventory and I send it into Amazon. Now that buys you a couple things. Whenever you send things off to Amazon, you're gonna get that great prime pricing. You're gonna get that prime listing. So that means that you're gonna be ahead of all the other people that aren't prime or that haven't sent the items into Amazon, as long as your price is really good and you can beat the buy box. If you don't understand the buy box in Amazon, I put a link to a video I did on the buy box and how you can win the buy box and what the buy box is up here in the cards if you want to check that out. But if you know you can't beat the buy box, there's no point in you trying to sell your items on Amazon, because your items will sit there and they will sit there and they will sit there and you will never sell your items. So if you can't get the buy box on Amazon, you need to revert back to eBay or Facebook Marketplace or just your own personal website or a retail store to sell those items. Now, I'm gonna get off Amazon because Amazon, like I said, is a whole different thing. If I can sell stuff on Amazon, if I can send stuff into Amazon, I do. That's my first choice. That's the prime thing for me to do. That's what I do first. I get all my Amazon stuff and I take that off. All right, so then whenever I send my items to Amazon, I pretty much know that they're probably gonna sell. So I can kind of take that off of my break even. You know, so if I'm sending things in, I've got, you know, I started with $200 and I sent $150 worth of stuff into Amazon, I can look at all the rest of my stuff and say, okay, can I make 50 bucks on this stuff that I have left? Normally, the answer is yes. So I'll take all that stuff and I'll break it down into the same amount that I said. So I'll look at each item and say, hey, you know, can I make whatever the cost is for this item? And I'll still price it that way, but I'll be a little bit more liberal on the pricing because I know that my Amazon stuff is more than likely going to sell. So whenever I list my items on eBay, a lot of times they're at a price point a little bit lower than what the average is. So let's jump into eBay real quick, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I look at the eBay items and how I price those. So we're here on eBay, and I'm going to show you just exactly how I do this. So I'm going to go to the last thing that I looked at, which was this Netgear N600. As you can see, once you search for that, it's going to show you everything that is listed. So some of the prices are, you know, you'll have one for $9.99, one for $13, one for $6, one for $17. They'll have a bunch of different prices, but what I like to look at is what actually has sold. So if you go down here on the left hand side, you'll see show only. I always click on sold and completed items. This is what the actual item sold for, and it actually gives you the date. So today is March 28, 2020. So one sold today for $45. One sold today also for $10.99 in pre-owned conditioned. These two are different models, so that's why one of them was a little bit higher than the other one. This is the exact model that I have. It's $55. There's one here for $11, one for $26, one for $13. So this kind of tells you what the average going price for something is, so you don't have to really guess. You can look on here and see what actually sold and when it sold. So as I can see right here, pretty much once I list this item, it's pretty much going to sell as long as I have it in one of these price ranges. Now I can't price it, you know, $75 because nobody's going to buy it. You know, if I price it for $10, then somebody's probably going to buy it super quick, but I'm not going to probably make as much money. eBay does kind of give you a trending at price based on what actually has sold, but sometimes you can't really trust that because something could have sold, somebody could have just been trying to get rid of something, and it may be the only one that sold in the last 20 days, and that's what eBay is going to base that trending price off of, and it may not necessarily be indicative to what the real price of the item is. So basically, you search for it, you go over here to the left hand side, you click on sold / completed items, and then you can see exactly what it sold for. You can do this on the mobile app as well as on the website. All right, so now you've got your items listed. You've got everything on all the websites that you want to sell items in. Now you are ready to make sales. So how do you make those sales? We're going to talk about that in the next video. If you want to see how I make the sales, how I get people into my websites, how do I get people into my Amazon, hit that like button, and I'm going to be making this a part 3, just how you get to making those sales, especially with these liquidation items. Sometimes it's a hard sale, it's a hard sale. I'm just gonna show you a bunch of different tips and tricks that you're gonna need, especially if you're gonna be a liquidation seller, like taking stickers and off of packages and different things like that. If you like these types of videos, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also hit that bell icon so you get notifications whenever I release new videos. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.